You walked out this morning, maybe with a mug of coffee in your hand, wearing the same slippers, taking the same path across the patio. You probably didn't look up toward the old stone wall or the low branch of the olive tree, but somewhere, just out of your direct line of sight, there was a hoopoe. It wasn't just sitting there by accident, it was watching you. Not casually, not like a decoration in the garden, but watching you the way you'd watch a stranger walking up your driveway, processing, evaluating, and making high-stakes decisions about you before you'd even taken your first sip. Most people think that unless you're actively putting out seed, the birds in your yard don't have a reason to care about you. The assumption is that wildlife and humans exist in parallel, sharing the same space, but never really intersecting. You go about your day, they go about theirs. But here is the part nobody tells you. To a hoopoe, you are a permanent, high-stakes feature of their landscape. Not a neutral one, not a background element, a central one. After a few weeks of living in the same space, that bird knows things about you, real things, specific things. It has built a file on you that is deeper than you could imagine. And it started building that file the very first morning you showed up in its yard. You think you're a free spirit, moving through your day as you please. The hoopoe disagrees. From its perch, usually a branch with a clean line of sight to your back door, it has mapped out your morning. It sees when the kitchen light flicks on. It hears the specific creak of your screen door. It notices the gap between those two events, how long it takes you to move from coffee to outside. And after about a week of you showing up in the yard, it starts arriving before you do. Why does it do this? Because for a bird like the hoopoe, staying alive is an incredibly expensive math equation. These birds burn an enormous amount of energy just maintaining their body heat and probing the soil for larvae with those long, curved beaks. That beak isn't just for show. It drives into the ground dozens of times a minute, and every single probe costs calories. A bird can lose a significant portion of its body weight overnight just trying to survive the cold. When morning comes, every decision about where to forage carries real weight. They can't afford to guess where the safe zones are. They have to know. So the bird notices the time of day you appear. It notices the sequence, the porch light, then the door, then the sound of your boots on the gravel. It links those signals together into a mental chain. By day 5 or 6, that chain triggers a behavior change. It stops foraging in the distant field and starts staking out your lawn instead, because your lawn, with you in it, has proven to be predictable. Predictable means survivable. It has, in a very real sense, scheduled its survival around your habits. And if you're late, if you sleep in on a Saturday, the hoopoe doesn't just leave, it waits. It might sit on that same branch for 40 minutes, watching your door, because its internal model of you says you're supposed to be there. You have become a data point it trusts, but the schedule is just the beginning. This is where it gets personal. The hoopoe in your yard doesn't just see a human, it sees you specifically. It knows you as distinct from your spouse, distinct from the mail carrier, and distinct from the neighbor who occasionally cuts through your yard. There is hard science behind this. Research on corvids and other cognitively advanced birds has shown that they can recognize individual human faces and remember them for months, even years. Not just while they live near you, but carrying that recognition with them across seasons. They aren't looking at a silhouette. They are looking at the shape of your face, the color of the jacket you wear most mornings, the specific gait you have, the rhythm of your step. It builds what you might call a "this one is safe" profile. And that profile belongs to you, not your household. If someone else from your house tries to walk your path at the same time you usually do, the hoopoe will scatter. It will take longer to come back down to the grass. It might even flare that iconic crest. that dramatic fan of feathers in a moment of uncertainty. That's not a coincidence. That's recognition. That's the bird running your face through a threat assessment and coming back with a mismatch. The reason this matters to the bird is stark. Misidentifying a safe human as a danger wastes precious energy on a panic flight, while misidentifying a dangerous one as safe gets you killed. There is no room for error. You have a file in that bird's brain because you are a variable it has successfully solved. And solved variables don't get revisited unless something changes. Now think about this from the other direction. Think about the perspective of an animal that has to make life or death decisions every few minutes. A hoopoe cannot afford to wait until you do something threatening. By then, it's already too late. So it doesn't wait, it predicts you. It reads your signals before those signals turn into action. The same way you might tense up before an argument even starts, before a single word is spoken. It reads the same things a perceptive stranger would read about you in a crowded street. How fast you're walking, whether your shoulders are loose or tight, whether your eyes are scanning or fixed, whether your movements have that easy, distracted quality of someone who has nowhere urgent to be, or that sharp, compressed energy of someone running behind. When you walk out relaxed, slow steps, coffee in hand, maybe pausing to look at the clouds. The hoopoe might barely move. It hops a few feet sideways as a small adjustment and keeps probing the grass. But when you walk out stressed, late for something, moving with that jagged, slightly aggressive energy that stress puts into your body, the bird explodes into the air before you've crossed half the yard. You didn't say a word. You didn't make a sound louder than usual. They read your body, and they've been doing it to every human they've ever encountered, refining the read, the same way they've evolved alongside predators that telegraph their intentions through movement. The low, slow crawl of a hunting cat versus the upright, swinging walk of something just passing through. Humans get scanned with that same ancient survival software every single day, and most of us have no idea. Every regular hoopoe in your yard is also carrying a high-resolution map in its head. And in a very practical sense, it knows your property better than you do. From the angles it uses, from the hours it spends watching, it has catalogued things you've never consciously noticed. It knows exactly where the nearest dense cover is from every point in your yard. It knows how many wing beats it takes to clear the fence from the spot nearest your garden beds. It knows which window the house cat sits behind on sunny afternoons, and it adjusts its patrol routes accordingly. It knows which corner of the yard catches the first warmth of morning sun, because warm soil means active insects, and active insects mean food. You've lived in that house for years, maybe decades, but the bird works that land on a level of granular attention you never have because you've never needed to. The moment you established a routine, you became a fixed landmark on that map, as real and as relevant as the stone wall or the olive tree. Your back door is a feature. Your usual walking path is a known corridor with an associated threat level baked in. If you keep your landscape stable and your behavior consistent, the bird's confidence in its map grows over time, and so does its willingness to forage closer to you. But if something bad happens, a hawk strike near the hedge, a sudden movement from a window, the map updates almost immediately. The geography in their heads is not a static image, it's alive, and it shifts the way your understanding of a neighborhood shifts after something unexpected happens there. Here's something that's easy to miss in all of this. The hoopoe isn't behaving this way because it likes you. It isn't seeking connection or companionship in the way a dog does. It's doing this because nature built it to be a highly efficient processing machine, and you happen to become one of the inputs. But that distinction between affection and calculation doesn't make the relationship less real. It just makes it more honest. The bird has invested cognitive resources into you. It has dedicated memory space to your face, your timing, your moods. In the currency of a wild animal's life, that is not nothing. That is significant. And when you think about how many hours that bird has spent watching you, really watching you, in a way most people in your life never do, there is something quietly humbling about it. It has seen you at your most ordinary. It has seen you distracted, unhurried, half awake, standing in your yard for no particular reason. It has watched the version of you that exists before the day starts and before anyone else is paying attention. And it has built an entire model of you from those unguarded moments. So here is what the birds in your yard already know. They know your schedule, not in the abstract, but down to the quarter hour. They know your face, not as a type, but as a specific individual distinct from every other human they've encountered. They know the difference between you on a good day and you on a difficult one before you've said a word to anyone. They've built a world with you in the middle of it, a world where you are a permanent fixture, a known quantity, a variable they've solved. This morning, you thought you were just stepping outside. You weren't. You were stepping into a relationship that's been running quietly for as long as you've lived there. A relationship where one party has been doing all the watching, all the learning, and all the remembering, while the other one, that would be you, had no idea it was even happening. Tomorrow, before you start your day, try something. Stop for 30 seconds at the door. Stand still before you step out and think about what that hoopoe has already noticed about you, and your jacket, your timing, the specific energy you're bringing outside with you today. Then look for that flash of cinnamon against the morning light, that black and white crest catching the air as it lands. You've been the subject of more attention than you knew. Nature has been paying close attention. The least we can do is start paying it back.